Dude, this righteous fear, man, it's different, man. It's it's provocative, man. I mean, I don't even know what that means. It gets the people going.
Yo, I got a problem with this. You know, people always saying that Snoop, Dr. Dre, us, everybody, we was jealous of Tupac. How can we be jealous of Tupac and we made Tupac? You know what I'm saying? We put that album together. We came over there. We gave him music. We did that. We wanted him to be the man of the man. You know what I mean? So how was we jealous putting his album together? You know what I'm saying? Taking songs from us and giving it to him. How is that jealousy? The only jealousy there was Suge Knight in his ear and everybody's ear causing confusion. Look at that now. You know what I mean? All on this little podcast, always talking shit. Kill that noise. The Dogg Pound, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, none of us. We was never jealous of Tupac. Because we can go in the streets and hang out and do whatever the we want to do. He was limited for what he had to do. And we was the one that was producing and creating a masterpiece. All eyes on me. So who's jealous? I think Suge Knight was jealous. Yeah.
What's up, good brads? How y'all feeling? Welcome to the channel. Today, we gonna talk about this, guys. Y'all heard it. Daz Dillinger goes off on Suge Knight for saying Snoop and Dre were jealous of Tupac, guys. And we gonna break it down. You know, we gonna go from start to finish. So, guys, without any further ado, let's jump right into something real quick. Need y'all to understand this.
Snoop, did you find yourself after the trial, like in the studio, trying to get some stuff done? Or?
You know what? My people from Death Row, they took me out of town, you know what I'm saying? To release my mind. That's something I really needed, you know what I'm saying? I had fun in the water. I went to the water, I was in the sky, me and Tupac was like 30 feet in the air.
One of hip-hop's favorite bromances is Pac and Snoop's friendship. But according to Suge Knight, Snoop might have played a part in the killing of Tupac.
You know, I really got to have a real conversation with Snoop. Now, if all these people knew what was going on in the situation, nobody never commented to kill anybody. So you're part of it. You part of that snake, you know what happened to snake.
All right, guys. So clearly you see this is going to come down. This is going to come down between the breakup and the demise of Death Row. Guys, so this is just a bunch of narratives pushed from Suge's side to Dogg Pound side. Tupac is not here with us, guys. But we all know Daz, he didn't make Tupac. Tupac was already legendary when he got to Death Row. Snoop, he run around and he tell people he wanted Pac. He the reason why Pac is on Death Row. That's not true. Suge wanted Pac since he saw him on the set of Above the Rim. Pac didn't want to go to Death Row because Pac wouldn't want to be number 3 on an all-star team. Pac knew he had #1 energy. But when times got hard for Pac, when he got into that lawsuit, that's when Suge swooped on in again, already wanting to get Pac on over to Death Row. So, if anything, Snoop and the Dogg Pound, they were there at Death Row first. And then Pac came in. It wasn't this, oh, we wanted Pac, so we recruited Pac. No, Dogg Pound have all the reasons and all the motives to be jealous. So you got to watch the relationship between Snoop and Suge and the relationship between Snoop and Tupac.
Suge Knight made these allegations while talking to Dave Mays on the Collect Call podcast. And according to Suge, Snoop has some explaining to do. Apart from implying that Snoop Dogg is a snake, Suge also stated that Snoop isn't loyal to Pac.
If that's loyalty to Pac, shit, motherfuckers don't need that type of loyalty.
I notice a difference when I take Alpha Brain. I am on.
And if you notice, guys, the two pictures that was there was Daz and Snoop Dogg. Guys, Daz and Snoop Dogg. See, because Corrupt had left
Probably
Dogg Pound. Corrupt had left the Dogg Pound at a point. Because remember, guys, Corrupt used to mess with Foxy Brown. And Corrupt is not originally from the West Coast. For those of y'all that don't know, Corrupt is one third of the Dogg Pound. Snoop, Daz, and Corrupt. Corrupt is from Philadelphia. So Corrupt went to the migrated to the West Coast, much like Tupac. But Corrupt found himself in love with Foxy Brown, guys. Yes, the Foxy Brown, East Coast, Brooklyn. And so he left Death Row early, right after Dr. Dre dipped. Corrupt was one of the first ones to leave. And, you know, that ain't sit well with Pac because Pac is the type of dude, if we got beef and we got war with that side, don't be fucking with that side. You know what I mean? Don't go fucking with that side. And for some weird reason, the Dogg Pound, who wanted to run with Pac for the clout, but they also wanted to be on the East Coast. They wanted to get money all around the board. But when Pac started striking up this East Coast, West Coast thing, they was riding with Pac. They was riding with Pac. Snoop had the nerve to say he did not like Hit 'Em Up. But we got so many award shows. We got so many videos of him on stage hyping the song while he was performing it, though. But then this motherfucker will go and do an interview and say he didn't like Hit 'Em Up. So it was always that snake shit that had Pac leery of Snoop, had Suge leery of Snoop and the Dogg Pound. Then when you mix in this gang shit and this color shit, y'all gotta always remember, Dogg Pound is blue and Pac, he red.
Shit, motherfuckers don't need that type of loyalty.
Now, you might be wondering where all of this is coming from, but before Tupac was murdered, he and Snoop were no longer friends. In fact, even Snoop confirmed this himself. Snoop Dogg stated in an interview with Angie Martinez that he and Pac's friendship had gotten so bad that he was willing to stab both Suge, Pac, and other death row homies on a private flight they all took together.
I'm like, what's up, Pac? And they do me like this. So I walk to the back of the plane, give me a blanket, grab me a knife and a fork, put the blanket over my nose right here, my little black glasses on, and ride like this the whole flight, hoping one of them come with me so I can stab at everybody on this mother.
So y'all heard it from his mouth to y'all ears. It was a hostile situation. It was a hostile environment over at Death Row, guys. A hostile environment. And like I said in the beginning, if anything, the animosity don't stem from Dogg Pound directly with Tupac. It stemmed from Dogg Pound with Suge. At the end of the day, guys, Tupac, he came to Death Row and he was given everything Snoop was given. Y'all got to remember, right? At the time, guys, when Pac came to Death Row, he was getting off of a case. Snoop was getting off of a case. And see, this is the thing. Y'all guys might not know this, but Snoop wasn't signed to Death Row. Snoop wasn't signed to Death Row until later on. Snoop, he worked his court case. That murder was the case. Remember, Snoop was caught up in the murder case. And they paid so much money, the label that is. The Jews that's behind the rap industry paid so much money. And put it like this, if that Doggy Style album didn't pop, Snoop probably would be in jail today, guys. But because that Doggy Style album popped while he was going back and forth to court, you know that the industry, the music industry, and the prison system, the prison, you know, they work together. They work hand in hand. We already went over how they made a deal. This is why our rap music went from conscious music, from music that makes sense, to music that make you want to just go to jail, make you want to do dumb shit, because the music working hand in hand with the prison system. But in any event, if Snoop Doggy Style did not go the numbers that it did, Snoop wouldn't have got off that case that easy right there. But Snoop got off the case, and Snoop was working for the case. So all them albums Snoop sold was for him to pay back the label, guys. Keep that in mind. So Snoop didn't own his publishing. So if anything, Snoop was jealous of Pac because Pac owned his publishing. Pac came to Death Row and was promised he was going to be able to open up his own Machiavelli record label. Snoop Dogg is looking at the shit like, I've been here. I'm Death Row. I mean, because remember, Snoop popped Death Row, but for like a hot season, because he had to go back and forth to court. So he didn't really have time to really embrace his success as the sole artist on Death Row, guys.
Snoop and Pac's issues began at the same time when the East Coast-West Coast rivalry began. Pac had been shot and robbed at Quad Studios, and he believed that Biggie and Diddy were involved in the robbery. However, when Snoop was doing an interview on BET, he stated that Biggie is his homeboy and that he had no beef with him.
Biggie Smalls, he's an artist that I listen to his music. I love his work. There's no beef. It's nothing personal. I don't hate him and I don't disrespect him and I love what he do. You know what I'm saying? And it's just me. I'm just a smooth, peaceful individual. I don't have beef with nobody right now, baby.
This didn't sit well with Pac because having a label mate say he is cool with the people he considered his enemies must have felt like a betrayal. Some people also believe that Pac and Snoop stopped being friends because Snoop Dogg was jealous of Pac. According to Napoleon, who was a member of Tupac's group Outlaws, Snoop was jealous of Pac because he took his shine.
Imagine if you, the biggest star on Death Row, and Pac come and take all your shine. You understand? And 25 years later, Pac died, and every time you do an interview, that name is brought up. So maybe he's just trying to take that shine from Pac. You know what I mean? And Pac is not here. Pac has passed away. Like, even if that's the case, speak about your friend in a positive light.
Before Pac joined Death Row, Snoop Dogg was the label's leading artist. He was featured heavily on Dr. Dre's Chronic, which also made him a star even before he released his debut album. And when Snoop eventually released Doggy Style, he became the face of West Coast hip-hop. Doggy Style sold over 800,000 copies in its first week, and it became the fastest-selling hip-hop album.
And that's the album that kept him out of jail, guys. If that album didn't do good, Snoop ass was going to jail, bro, because that album was making the elites and the rich folks, the higher ups, so much money. They said, yo, listen, yo, we got to keep this guy out of jail. And that's when the industry worked with the prison to keep that guy out of jail.
During this period, Snoop Dogg was regarded as the king of West Coast, and Death Row was the house that Snoop built, and Snoop was even Suge's right-hand man. However, all of these things changed when Pac joined Death Row in late 1995. Suge Knight posted Tupac's $1.4 million bond, and just months after Pac joined Death Row, he released All Eyes on Me. Tupac blew up faster than anyone could have imagined. He quickly became the face of Death Row, and Pac undoubtedly took the label to another level. By now, the hierarchy had changed, and Snoop was quickly relegated to the background. Everyone wanted a piece of Pac.
Thug life, y'all don't forget that shit. What type nigga is the thug life, nigga? Thug life nigga be the craziest.
All right, it's Tupac. Just finished throwing up. We're back. That was the Notorious B.I.G. with Big Papa. You know, just kidding. Everything's all good.
What are you doing? I said, Mom, let's put this clothes back, please. She said, no. You go to school and learn, my boy.
Look a little beanhead Jada Pinkett, guys. While I was doing my research for this video, I stumbled over some facts that Jada had a bigger role in California Love. You know what I mean? They was gonna make that like a little series. She was gonna be like Tupac's little sidekick, his little rider, his Harley Quinn. But Will Smith, he shot it down. He shot it down.
Fashion show.
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything.
Y'all make sure y'all hit that like
Don't
button.
spend
Salute
another-
to the squad. Y'all, thank y'all for coming on out today. Y'all already know. We already going over the beef between Death Row Records, Snoop Dogg and the Dogg Pound, and Tupac.
Summer. Have a good summer, P.I.
He ain't got no hair like
dreads ain't working, baby.
That's out of style,
the
baby.
dreads ain't working, baby. You want to do something like this, baby. So, look at that. We gotta start saying fuck these bitches, man. Bitches ain't shit. We don't learn them hoes, and it's like that.
Many believe this is why Snoop might have been jealous of Tupac. And because they were no longer as cool as they were before, this is perhaps why Snoop didn't follow Tupac to Vegas and why he wasn't in the car when Suge and Tupac were shot. Snoop Dogg stated that he didn't go to Vegas because they were no longer cool at the time. Snoop explained that he asked Pac if he was going to Vegas, but Tupac didn't want him to come along.
It's a 5.5-hour flight. Don't nobody say one word to me. Not one word. Just having conversations and doing all kinds of things, saying nothing to me. Now we land. My Rolls Royce, Tupac Rolls Royce, Suge Rolls Royce. We step off the plane.
That's because you wanted to play Let's Pretend I'm Gangster, yo. You wanted to play Let's Pretend I'm Gangster. Snoop, you can't be the victim now, bro. You sat there on that stage. You the one that ignited that whole Source Awards, bro. Snoop, honestly, be realistically, you the one that ignited this whole East Coast, West Coast shit. Down to the, y'all guys, yo, y'all gotta understand, y'all do know that New York was done before Hit 'Em Up, right? That disrespectful New York shit was done before Hit 'Em Up. So Snoop always engaging in some disrespectful activity than playing the victim. He stood on that stage and was dancing to Hit 'Em Up. He was on there dancing. They was at the house. They was at the House of Blues, rocking. And then you gonna go on an interview and say, "I'm cool with them, though. I'm cool with them. It's just music." It looked bad, bro. It's not a good look, Snoop.
I'm like, Pop, you going to Vegas to the fight? I said, that's the last time I seen my live.
However, according to Suge Knight, this wasn't exactly what happened. Suge explained that they always attended every event together, so Snoop asking them about going to the fight rather than just going with them is suspicious.
2, we always go to the fight together. We always go to the club together. Even when they did that half-ass watered-down movie on Pac, and he said, "You gonna be at the fight?" and all that type of shit.
Suge stated that he believed the only reason Snoop didn't follow them to Vegas is perhaps because he already had information that someone was going to attack them after the fight.
And I knew that Pac did everything right by him by putting him on All Eyes on Me, speaking about him and being real with him. And if it's true what they say,
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Face-to-face is going to be a lot of explaining to do.
Suge then stated that Snoop's close friend, Warren G, explained that Snoop had a radio with him on the night Pac was killed.
I heard a horn, bing, 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 honking in front of my house. So I looked out the house, excuse me, y'all. I looked out the house and Snoop was outside in a white motherfucking Rolls Royce. Then he had this the next tail back then. Remember the motherfucker? Yeah. I don't know what kind of next tail he had, but he had the motherfucker could go that whatever it was hitting him all the way from what was going on from Vegas. So they was like, we could hear the shit, and then he started getting calls and shit, and they was telling him that Tupac got shot and da-da-da-da-da. So Snoop.
Suge Knight stated that they only used the radio when they were at an event, so as to communicate with security. However,
welcome to Flatiron School. This is where you learn how the future.
This shit getting spooky. Y'all let me know. Put in the comment section. Y'all think Snoop Dogg has something to do with this, guys?
Friend's house and didn't have security detail. Suge stated that the only reason why Snoop would have had to use the radio is if he was at the fight with the rest of Death Row. And Snoop using the radio while he wasn't in Vegas is one of the reasons why Suge Knight suspects Snoop Dogg.
Only way you have a radio if you was at the fight with us and you had a security detail. I'm not having a security detail. What are you doing with the radio?
Suge also stated that he suspects Snoop was involved in the ploy to kill Pac because Snoop Dogg listened to the shooting play-by-play on his radio.
Then all of a sudden, Warren says on this thing where they listen to the radio and they hear the gunshots. And basically somebody told them we got him or they got shot or all this shit. So how would you know that? Why would you have a play-by-play on the radio?
During Warren G's interview on the Drink Champs podcast, he stated that after Snoop heard about the shooting, he went to visit Pac at the hospital.
So Snoop, I kicked everybody out. Get the fuck out of here, everybody. Get out of here. And then he took off. That's when he went to Vegas to go see him, to get out there to see what was going on. And that's when he went out there when he went to the hospital. But
However, according to Suge Knight, what you just heard from Warren G isn't true. Suge claimed that Snoop never came to visit Pac at the hospital at all.
He said Snoop kicked him out.
Yo, it's something crazy about this, guys. I'm going to give y'all my black demon Mount Rushmore, guys. And it's something about these 4 dudes that I need y'all to watch. I need y'all to watch these 4 dudes, guys. This is my Mount Rushmore of devils, bro. Number 1, Jay-Z. Number 2, P. Diddy. Number 3, Dr. Dre. And rounding off at number 4, Snoop Dogg. Watch those 4, guys. Just watch watch their moves. Watch the bidding that they do. Watch the rewards that they just always magically are given. Just watch the power, guys. On them 4 right there. Something funny about them 4.
And he came to the hospital. Snoop never came to the hospital, period.
Apart from using a radio to follow the shooting and not visiting Pac at the hospital, Suge stated that another reason he suspects Snoop knew they were going to be shot is because Snoop told Daz Dillinger not to go to Vegas.
Then, Daz was on some other shit. I really hate bringing up Daz because I take mental health serious, and I know he got mental problems, but Daz was on a situation saying that Snoop told him they can't go to the fight, can't go to the club, can't go to Vegas. It's going to fuck shit up because something will happen, basically.
Suge stated that it wasn't only Daz who was told not to go to Vegas. Badass, who was signed to Snoop's label, was also told not to go to the fight because something was going to happen in Vegas.
Not only did Pac put him on the song, Pac said, man, I'm going to let you go to the fight with me. So Pac was like, you can go to the fight with me. After the fight, we're going to the club. He said that Daz told him, well, you can't go, something's going to happen. Basically, Pac or me, whoever, you go, it's going to fuck shit up.
Suge stated that since Snoop didn't warn them about going to Vegas, then he was part of the plan to kill Tupac.
Now, if all these people knew what was going on in the situation, nobody never commented to kill anybody. So you're part of it. You part of that snake, you know what happened to snake.
Suge also stated that after the death of Tupac, Snoop also featured on the album of one of the men who murdered Tupac.
So the other situation is that even after this shit, a motherfucker was with KPD, according to KPD and everybody else, and everybody know this, street know this, I was locked up. But Snoop, Daz, and the rest of them, they did a song with one of the niggas from that side who was in the car.
He was one of the rappers featured on Big Dre's album, Hard White. Big Dre was a member of the Southside Crips. He is one of the 4 men in the car that was used to kill Tupac. In fact, a number of people believe that it was Big Dre and not Orlando Anderson that shot Tupac.
Who they do the song with? Which mean who was? Who did the compilation? The person who did the compilation was that nigga Dre, or whatever his name is. Well, you know, he ain't here, but that's that.
Suge Knight stated that Snoop Dogg doing a song with one of Tupac's killers is another form of betrayal. However, I must state that if you trust Suge,
That is crazy though, Snoop. On the low, Snoop. That's what got you in this nasty shit too, though. Being friendly with the enemies and shit. But like again, I don't think Snoop had anything directly to do with the shit. He might know of Noom, but I don't think he had anything directly. Snoop was the type of nigga that wanted to get money. And that's the thing. The East Coast, West Coast beef, it divided the room, bro. Once New York was done, the West Coast artists who was barely getting spins on our coast, they wasn't getting no burn. And their money started to get affected. You know what I mean? You also had them inner West Coast beefs, like the West Side Connection versus Death Row. Now, West Side Connection, they can get money on the East Coast. You know what I mean? But not anybody signed to Death Row, so it started to affect the other artists. So if anything, I don't think they were particularly jealous of Tupac. They was just jealous of the situation. Tupac had all the control. He had all the power. He was the king of the West. You know what I mean? He was the king of the West. And other dudes who thought they was the king of the West, they had to play a back seat.
Knight's words, you do that at your own peril. This doesn't mean what Suge said isn't true. It just means you should take his words with caution. Suge has a huge beef with Snoop because Snoop Dogg took Death Row Records from him. Therefore, it is possible that he has a vendetta against Snoop. So, what do you think?
That's true too, guys. And that I find that funny for Snoop, because at some point, guys, Snoop ran. He got out of Death Row and he went and found a way to get signed to Master P. You know what I mean? And then Master P, he put his powers to be and got Snoop and got Suge to leave him alone, leave Snoop alone. But you know what I mean, the damage was done. Snoop was off of Death Row and he was down with No Limit. So for him to then, like last year, I think they rewarded Snoop the Death Row. They gave him Death Row the company. Like that shit didn't make no sense to me. But again, remember those four that I tell you about. They get to do the Super Bowls. They get to do shit that you don't think people get to do. But watch them. Guys, before we get on out of here, let me pull up one last thing that Corrupt said. Corrupt is the other half of Dogg Pound Gangsters. You know what I mean? I found this to be real key too, because it all comes down to them believing that they made Tupac because of that album, bro. They didn't make Tupac. Dogg Pound, Daz made a lot of beats because remember, Dre dipped. So Dre was dipping at the time. So Daz made a lot of beats for Tupac and that All Eyes on Me album. But that don't mean you made Pop.
And then Daz need to get his props. Daz worked on the first record that Tupac did when he came home, Ambitions of a Rider.
You see, that's all. He Pac, first beat Daz worked on, Ambitions of a Rider, guys. So you see why everybody just want their credit. Everybody just want to be so they name attached to the greatest of all time, which is Tupac. So everybody just want don't leave me out. I did this, I did that. I made him. Kind of like how these single mothers be acting. I made him, you know what I mean? When they didn't do that. They didn't make you. Make another one then. Dogg Pound. How the hell did y'all make Tupac and y'all end up the way y'all end up? You know what I mean, Mr. Daz? You made the beats. You made the key beats on that album, All Eyes on Me. And the best beat that Daz ever made on that album is Scandalous, bro. Listen, y'all gotta remember. Let's go back in time. That album, that Tupac All Eyes on Me album was the first digital mastered album. Yo, that album was digitally mastered. Yo, like they had put the work in on that album. Technology was advanced on that album. You know what I mean? When I heard that fucking album and that song in particular, bro, and you hear the way that everything just play out, Zone, I know you're a musician, so you know what I'm talking about, bro. That Scandalous song is retarded, yo.
I won't deny it. I'm a straight rider. You know, that's Daz and Superfly. Soon as he came home, Suge already knew. First person I'm gonna put him with is Daz. Boom. He knew. Daz had the formula for Tupac's sound. What he wanted Tupac. He said, you know what? Tupac's home. Daz was the first one to be in there with him and lay that magic. And the first record they made was Ambitions of a Rider. Boom. After that record, Tupac went on fire when he heard the magic he could make with this Death Row team, starting with.
And that's a fact. Because guys, you gotta remember, Pac had a real good album. He had Thug Life. He had Thug Life or Thug Style. He had a Thug Style album that he was gonna put out. His third album was gonna be Thug Style. So he had mad songs. And then he had to change that whole album up and put out Me Against the World so that he could have a different perspective. So he could have a perspective album, guys. Like he didn't wanna be going through a case and have an album like Thug Style out. So he made Me Against the World, where he talked about, you know what I mean? You know the shit y'all love, that mama, dear mama shit and all of that. But when he came out, he still had the Thug Style album with songs and lyrics. So man, Pac was ready. That's why nobody can say that they made Pac, bro. Pac made that motherfucking All Eyes on Me double CD. And mind you, it was a double CD. He had songs. That's why it was a double CD. He made that shit in about 3 weeks. He made that shit in 3 weeks. In fact, when Pac got to Death Row, they were working on Dogg Pound Gangsters album. They was working on Dogg Pound Gangsters album and Doggy Father. Pac came there and surpassed both those albums, bro, in production-wise.
With Daz. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was right up his alley because he was so upset about so many things, but he was so happy to be home. You know what I'm saying? So it was these mixed feelings and emotions. When Daz had dropped that motherfucking Ambitions of a Rider, he was able to, it just focused him. And he was like, oh, I'm home. Yeah, I'm home.
So who did Daz originally make that beat for?
Daz made it right there. Yeah, Tupac is home. Daz got the call. He went to the studio. Tupac went to the studio. They met there. Daz had Superfly come through. Everybody chopping it. Happy Pac is there. Daz is just working on the beat. Whoop wop him and Superfly, thinking of a master plan, and then came up with the drums. And then after he finished the drums, Superfly came with the win, and then Daz had that whoop. I think it was Daz who put that in there. That was the whole beat before Superfly started adding the whams to it. And then Tupac lost his mind. He said, oh my God, what is this shit? This that thug shit. Jumped in that motherfucker and went nuts. Right, so Daz made it right on the spot, strictly for Tupac.
Hey, yo, you know what beat is actually my favorite that Daz made for Tupac? Scandalous. I mean, every time that shit come on All Eyes on Me, man.
Absolutely, yes. Scandalous, crazy.
That shit never get old, man. The way that shit come on and everything, man. I love that shit, yo.
She's so scandalous. She's so scandalous. You know, Delmar gave his best, man. He hit Tupac with all different sides of Daz and Superfly, all parts of Daz. He hit him with Ambitions first, then he came with that's Scandalous, then he hit him with the I Got My Mind Made Up. I mean, he just hit him with all different sides of Daz, which is DPG. Those records you hear Tupac on is DPG shit. And he threw the thug in it. He threw that outlaw shit in it. It's a grand combination because we've been doing this since 93 with Tupac. Because first thing we did was Poetic Justice. You know, we got a slot on there with Niggas Don't Give a Fuck, me and Daz, where we introduced the Dogg Pound. I think that's the one where Warren G did a record. He produced Tupac. You know what I'm saying? And Tupac's record on the Poetic Justice soundtrack, I think, is Tupac produced by Warren G. Oh, my mama.
Great live today, guys. For those of y'all that didn't know, now you know what I mean? But yeah, again, they didn't make Tupac. Tupac was destined to be great, bro. Tupac was destined to be great. And again, everybody just want their credit. And they just want they shine. You know what I mean? That's all. But guys, y'all let me know what y'all think about the video in the comment section. Y'all wrap up, strap up, drink responsibly. Do not play with your life, guys.